Welcome to the session, Your Mindset for Success, and thank you for joining us at this time of the day, lunchtime for me, and for those of you. We've got a bit of a global audience, so it's good afternoon or good evening for you. So I put this together. I've run it a few times in different formats, but I put it together as a basis of encouragement and to help people who want to achieve something specific when it comes to their work, their business, and their personal lives as well. So my name is Rosemary Wilson. I'm one of the consuls of Internations. I've been with Internations for about 6 years, I think. I am a consul for the Londoners of All Nations and the London Inspired Women's Group, which is what this group is I'm running this session for today. My background is in fact in finance. I used to work for oil and gas companies until I decided to retrain as a coach to bring to life my passion for helping others, and also to help people get out of situations that they're in and when they don't know what to do or where to start. So I mostly work with career-focused women. I help to build confidence, overcome imposter syndrome, and help them to thrive in what they do or take the next step in their career. I also work with organizations who are committed to investing in and retaining talent while supporting a culture of diversity and inclusion, which is really important for me. So I run workshops, talks, I speak at events, speaking engagements. I've just written my first book as well. So I will be a published author by the end of this year, 2021. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And the book is on imposter syndrome. You can connect with me if you wish on LinkedIn. You can use the QR code with your phone or use any of those links there below to find me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And there's a bit of a Facebook account, but I don't use that much. So the session content today is, I'm going to be talking about some of the elements of a mindset for success. What would be a really good way to have your mindset? What would be a good way to have your mindset focused on for your success? What are the key elements of creating a mindset for success? I'm going to talk about resilience, because life is not built for perfection, as we've seen in the last year. I'm going to talk a little bit about appreciation and gratitude, and I'll be asking some self-reflection questions throughout. If you've got any questions or you think of anything whilst I'm speaking, just write it down. And when we get to the Q&A at the end, we can either have a Q&A session or you can bring up something that comes to mind for you. I suggest also that you get a pad, a piece of paper or a pen, or I don't know, you can use your phone to just make a note of what I'm saying. But you're also welcome to listen back to the recording, as I'll be sending that out after the session. So what would you like to get out of the session? It's your session today. What would you like to get out of it? I'm taking up your time, an hour of your time. What would you like to get out of it? If you can just pop it in the chat box so I can have a look at what you're here for, to see if I'm going to cover it or if I can cover it throughout as I'm speaking, or reference it as I'm speaking. So just please share with me what is really key for you. More clarity, how to stay focused, how to keep focused. Okay, so clarity and keeping focused. Okay, I will attempt to bring those into the conversation on what you need to prioritize. I think prioritizing is also important as well when it comes to staying focused and gaining clarity. And later on, maybe you can tell me clarity in what context. So thank you very much. So first of all, what does success look like? What does it mean to you? How are you measuring your success? Because the reason I ask this question is because a lot of my clients come to me and they say they want X or Y or Z. And when I dig a little bit deeper, I sometimes find that it's success that they think they should have or think they should be focusing on, or it could be something that their parents have said to them or someone else of influence has passed on to them. And it's not actually their version of success. So just to give you an example, when I started my business, I just wanted to help people. I didn't have any really clear structure on who I wanted to help. I just knew that I didn't want to work in the corporate world anymore. helping people is a big word. So I didn't have the focus and the specific goal or plan or business plan. So I did it all the wrong way. But I knew that my success would look like me helping someone else to become a better person and become more focused on what they wanted. And I knew I had the tools to do that. That was my version of success. And I've pretty much stuck to that. I've whittled down what my success looks like a little bit more. And it doesn't, in fact, revolve around becoming rich or making lots and lots of money. And the money comes to me through my work, but that's not what I focus on. This is a true passion for me, and I intend to be working for myself for a long time. So that's just a story around my version of what success looks like to me. So what does it look like to you? What is it that you want that will complete your life or make your life feel more successful? And how do you measure that? How will you know when you've reached that level of success? So if you've got any ideas, just share that with me. Otherwise, I will move on to the next slide. What does success like mean to you? If you want clarity or you want to be more focused, what do you want to focus on? What does that mean to you? If not, I'll keep moving. You might be thinking, spending some time. I can come back to this slide as well. Cool. So alignment with your values. Okay, that's good. And hopefully you don't have to share, but do you know what your values are? Have you done some kind of values exercise or a values elicitation exercise of something? Have you done that as well? Because that's really helpful. Sometimes people think, oh, it's got to be an alignment with my values, and values can be a feeling, but sometimes we don't actually write down, we can't articulate what our values are. So, okay, that's a good start. So yeah, values, I think that's important, and values should be ever present in our lives when it comes to measuring success. So I think that's really important. So thank you for sharing that. So for me, there's some certain elements that are really important to have in place when it comes to focusing on success. And this is just a snapshot. The bigger picture does that in fact also have values in there, and it also has fear, facing your fear, but I'll talk about that in a little while as well. But the elements that are important are your mindset. So how are you thinking? So are you thinking about how I'm going to fail, how this isn't working, or I'm not doing this anymore because I'm not getting the results I want? Or is your mindset focused on, oh, this is amazing, I didn't quite get to where I want to go today, but tomorrow I'll try a different action, I'll try a different action, or try a different approach. So that's what your mindset needs to be on your side to create that element of success. Now, I think that's really important, to have your mindset focused in the right space. Action, you must take action even when that action doesn't quite come out to what you want to be. So you cannot fear failure. So you take some action, and even if it's one small piece of action, just take the action step towards what you want, and the other things that you need will fall into place as you're taking action. And some people wait until they've got all their ducks in a row, so to speak, they've got everything in order before they take action. But that is not necessarily the way to bring results. The important thing is to maybe have a list of things that you want to do, and then just prioritize and start with one thing. So I'm going through a thing now where I want to develop my YouTube channel. So I know I've got to take videos, and I have lots and lots of material, but I haven't actually created that time to sit down, because I need a chunk of time to create a sequence of videos. Well, actually, I don't need that. I could just start with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. But I'm waiting until I've got everything going. But I now know that just start, just do something. So I've actually got a week off starting tomorrow, and I'm going to create 4 videos whilst I'm doing. That's my action plan, and just load them up on my YouTube channel, because I know I've got the channel, I've got material there already, but now I want to just add to that and be more more focused and consistent with putting those videos up. So that's what I mean by taking action. Support, it's really important to have a support network, someone you can speak to, someone you can call on, people who believe in you for your success that you seek, who want the success that you seek for yourself, that they actually want that for you as well. Your beliefs, that goes hand in hand with your mindset as well. If you believe you're going to fail, or you believe you can't do something, that will not put you in the right mindset to move towards success. So it's really important that you examine the beliefs you're holding and whether they are helpful or hindering. So that's really, really important. Longevity. So keep going, even when it looks like things aren't working according to your plan. Quite often we give up really short, just before success. So we give up and say it's not working just before we're about to make that massive or incredible breakthrough. So you need to be in it for the long haul, for as long as you're excited about your plan. You don't want to look back and say, I gave up and I wish I hadn't. So be in it for the long haul and take the success with the failures, because some of those failures are there to teach you something, and they will help you to learn about yourself and learn from your mistakes as well. So stick with the long haul. Focus is really important. So the lady that said you lack focus, you're looking for focus. You know, what do you need to focus on? What distracts you from focusing? Now, what happens when you have something in your mind or in your plan? What happens that derails you? So try to perhaps write down what it is that you need to focus on. Do you know what you need to focus on? Do you have one thing you can focus on? These are some of the easy questions you can ask. Can you perhaps put them on post-it notes around where you live, so that you remember to stay focused on that and not get distracted or don't procrastinate? So focus is also important when it comes to a mindset for success. So these are 6 elements that I think are very important when it comes to your success. So one of those must ring out for you in terms of what success means for you. So I hope you'll be able to share that with me at the end. Now, I think that when I said about longevity, the importance of longevity, resilience is important, because sometimes we give up when things don't work. They're not going according to plan or what we expect. So we back down, we remove ourselves from a situation. So it's really important to start building your resilience. So rather than saying it's not working, I'm not going to do this anymore, to overcome the difficulties, so to recover quickly from the difficulties, from the toughness. So that's the definition of resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. Now, I don't necessarily think you need to recover quickly from difficulties, but it's really helpful if you do recover and bounce back, rather than taking things to heart, giving up relatively easily because things aren't going your way, because you've experienced a setback. It's really important to hold that in your mind so that you do focus on your end game, your longer term goal, what success means to you. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat box. Okay. So it's really important for that resilience to take a place, because sometimes we focus on what's not going well for us, but we don't focus on what we can do to make things better. We just focus on the what's not working. And then we start finding people to tell, oh, it's not working. And then they side with you, they join with you and start talking about, oh yeah, that's so bad. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's really awful when things don't work out. And that doesn't put you in that right frame of mind to bounce back from your resilience. So I think that's quite important to start focusing on what you can do to build up your resilience. Just taking a sip of tea. So in the frame of being successful or focusing on your success, focusing on mindset for success, building resilience is important. You know, I like this, fall 7 times stand up 8. So building resilience takes a lot of elements and a lot of focus to make sure that you are strong and able to bounce back either quickly or eventually. And sometimes building resilience can take time, and it depends on what you spend your time doing, who you spend your time with, and what you spend your time doing. So it can take time to become stronger. I think it's quite a muscle. Now I've spent a lot of my life building resilience and introducing coping strategies for difficult situations. So I believe I'm quite strong in my resilience, and also what I take on board. So if something's not going well, rather than dwelling on it, I park it and I say things like, well, tomorrow's another day. I'll see what I can do tomorrow. I say things like, what's in my control? What can I do now? What can I do to improve the situation? And they're all part of building resilience. Now, I'm not telling you to be superwoman on this event where we're all women. If you're a man listening to this at some point, I'm not saying that you need to be Superman, but it can take time, and we are affected by things that happen to us. But it's important to build it, to take the time to build your resilience. And it requires strengthening over time as well. So over time, you keep building, you focus on what you want, focus on becoming stronger in either your personality or your emotional resilience, or perhaps your physical resilience as well. You know, lots of things around that, looking after yourself, well-being. I'm not focusing on that today, but to help you become resilient and to become stronger, all of these things need to be looked at. So, you know, who do you surround yourself with? How do you look after yourself? Do you sleep well? What news do you watch? Are you going down that route of watching lots of really negative things, or listening to lots of negative things and reading lots of negative things? They are not great tools or resources to help you build resilience. So your resilience needs nurturing, and it needs for you to take care of it, for it to become stronger, for it to be strengthened. And it needs that continuous development. It needs for you to be watchful of what's going on for you. Again, you know, who are you speaking to? What are you doing? What are you spending your time doing? Are you focusing on the things that will eventually bring you a result? Even if it's small things daily, or, you know, small things regularly or consistently. You know, what's stopping you from building a resilient mind or a mindset for success? So you need to have this continuous development as well. And I also think, as I said earlier, what news are you watching? Who are you speaking to? It's really important for you to be surrounded by people who support you when it comes to a mindset for success and building your resilience. If you are the person in a coffee area gossiping about other people, that just brings this kind of negative mindset around you. And that's not you looking for things that are helpful or will bring you success. So be mindful who's around you, who's on your side, who's cheering for you, who are you speaking to, who are you surrounding yourself with. That's really, really important as well, to find people who are championing for you and supporting you. That's really important in both the context of resilience and the concept of mindset. So later on, I'll give you some specifics on what you can do to build more resilience. I'll give you a few tools and a few ideas as well. I think appreciation is also a partner to success. It's a partner to my success, because rather than looking at what I don't have, what I haven't received yet, what I haven't done, I appreciate things, even the good, the good definitely, but even the bad and the ugly. Even when things do not work out how I want them to, I look at, sometimes I've been in some situations and like, how on earth did that happen? But I'm like, I know there is something that I can learn from this. And sometimes it might take a little while for you to figure that out. And sometimes you never know, but I appreciate that I have been put in this situation, in that situation, that setback situation to learn something and to grow from it. So I always have a really strong sense of appreciation in my life for what's going on. This last year and a half, during this time, instead of saying, oh, I can't go, because I used to go to a lot of face-to-face network events. I used to get a lot of business from networking events, and I wasn't able to do that. So I just took everything online. And I've had lots of different things happen to me, and the most amazing things have happened to me. But I've seen this time as actually a time for me to be appreciative of it, even though it's met with some awful things that have happened to me and to other people. But I've just seen this time as something to be grateful for, and something I can learn from. So I always appreciate everything. Again, I can't always see it in that moment, but I look for what I can learn from each and every situation, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And I think that's really important to also have that at the tip of your mindset as well when you're talking about success overall. So going into that now, so obviously we've got what's going on now in the world, but what's currently your biggest challenge when it comes to your version of success? What's your biggest challenge at the moment? So if you said you focus was one of the things that you might be struggling with, what is it that you've got too many things to focus on? Is it that you need to prioritize? Is it that you don't know where to focus? So for the person that said focus, what is specifically your challenge when it comes to focus? The person who said clarity, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to clarity? What is it? Are you in the same position as you don't know what to focus on? You've got too many things going around in your head, so you need to tease them out so that you become more clear, so that you can prioritize. What is your biggest challenge? Is it something else? What's your biggest challenge? If you were to put a name to it or a word to it, what's your biggest challenge? I sometimes get pulled away from my focus as well, because I'm always asked to do different things, and I get excited when people ask me to do things, and sometimes that means I've set my own work aside. So I've had to start saying no to things more often, because the more I'm seen, the more I'm visible, the more I'm asked to do things. So I have to be quite mindful of being asked to do things. So doubt about being able to reach it. Okay, so we always have doubts. So just to answer that, to put some help or support in that. So if you have the doubts about it being able to reach it, that means you won't take action, which means you won't reach it. If you take action towards reaching it, you will become 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 steps closer to reaching what it is you want to do. If you do nothing, you will not stand the chance of reaching it. And the important thing is to perhaps set yourself a plan, a reasonable plan for you, knowing how much time you've got, what resources you have, what else is happening around you, to set yourself a plan to invoke those resources to start taking those steps and taking those steps towards reaching it. Because if you're spending time thinking about, I don't know if I can get there, I don't think this is going to work, that means you're using that energy focusing on things that aren't helpful for you. So you want to find a way to turn that round. And it's natural to have doubts, but even take the action with the doubts, but still take the action to reach it. That's just a helpful, without knowing your specific context, that's just a helpful way to start moving forward. So taking some form of action, small action, daily or consistently. So thank you for sharing that. So the answer was doubts with regards to reaching it. So that was what I was just answering. So for instance, for you, maybe there's an element of confidence. So you're not confident enough, maybe you're doubting yourself about your abilities to achieve what it is that you set out to. So it's really important for the success is to find a way to start building your confidence towards success. Because if you're sitting there doubting yourself, your capabilities and your abilities, then it's highly unlikely you'll start to reach your goals or to take action. So a really good way to help you feel more confident is to just go back, to look back on what you have achieved. So look at the areas where you thought you weren't going to achieve something in the past, you know, where you started from, what happened. And it could be something as simple as passing a specific exam. I don't know, even riding a bike, swimming, simple things. So just go back and look at in chronological order, so your life order, go and look back at things that you started doing, and at the time you thought, oh God, this is so hard, I'm never going to be able to do this. So just go back and make that list of what you actually achieved and how you achieved it, and what your learning was from those achievements, you know. And you'll find that, see, I can do something when I put my mind to it. It wasn't how I imagined it. It was even better. When you start looking at and identifying how you felt and those achievements, that will start to invoke a confidence in you and a confidence in your abilities. So just go back and start writing down your achievements, how you felt when you started doing that thing, and how you felt at the end. Start building up your confidence by your own evidence and your own success. Your beliefs are really important. So for you doubting that you might not achieve it, is that a belief that you're holding? You doubt yourself, you doubt that you're capable. Is that a belief? Is there any proof to show that you aren't capable of achieving it? I remember I've been asked to do things that when I was first asked, I was like, oh my goodness, how on earth am I going to do that? You know, speaking in front of like a huge auditorium of people. And when I first got the call and I said, oh, I'll do it, and I walked into the building, I remember walking into the not the building, into the room, and I saw the chairs set out and people all going to be looking at me, and there was actually a stage. I was like, oh my goodness. As I got to the door, and I thought I would feel some form of fear that I was going to doubt myself in doing it, but I didn't. I went on stage and I loved it, and I helped people. I answered questions, I delivered my presentation, my talk, and it was a wonderful experience. And it was all filmed as well. And I thought I was going to be nervous, and my mind was saying, when originally I thought, when I got the call, I was like, how am I going to do that? But on the day, I believed I could do it. I didn't walk in there thinking, oh, I'm really petrified. So what are your beliefs telling you? Are your beliefs telling you you can't do something? And quite often when we're on our own with our beliefs, they build up, they get bigger and bigger. So it's quite important to step out of your own headspace and go and talk to someone, share it with someone who will either help you, guide you, coach you, mentor you to help you step out of that. Don't go to someone who's going to say, oh yeah, it won't work, you shouldn't try doing that. So be careful of who you're speaking to, and be careful who's around you. Your self-talk is also a part of your belief system. So if your self-talk is telling you, I can't do this, that's what you're going to see. So that phrase, that quote by Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. And that really is true. If you think you can do something, you will find a way to start stepping into the spaces and taking action to do something. And if you think you can't do something, you'll find a way to sabotage yourself, self-sabotage yourself, so that you're not successful and you doubt yourself. So self-talk is really, 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 really important. And I said, is it something you gift yourself often? When you gift yourself self-talk, is it helpful? Is it encouraging? Or is it hindering? Is your self-talk the one that says, oh, you can't do that, so don't even try? So which do you gift yourself most often? It's also important to prepare and plan for your success. Preparing and planning will give you more confidence and success to start gaining and achieving what you want. And learn some action from your mistakes. So if you make a mistake in one area, you do something that didn't quite work out right, learn from that. So if you do it again, what will I do next time? Or what can I do differently? So that's really, really important, because we're being taught all the time, but sometimes we just don't see it because we're so busy worrying or being anxious about things. And facing fear, that is the hugest thing about success. And fear looks like self-doubt. Fear looks like imposter syndrome. Fear looks like a lack of confidence. Fear looks like a lack of self-esteem. And what we often do when we're fearful of something, we avoid it. You can't get better at something doing, or you can't improve on something if you don't face your fear. So you could even just write down your fear, put your fear on paper, give it a name so that it's out of your head rather than going around in your head tormenting you. So it's important for you to face the fear, and face whatever you're fearful of. And if you can't do that on your own, find someone who will help you, hold your hand and guide you. But you must find the way to overcome and take that first step to move beyond fear. So these are really 6 important elements, again, of building confidence and moving towards your success. I said about looking at who's around you. Who are you focusing on? Who are they supporting you? Are they championing you? So your home life, your friends, your family, who's around you? And most importantly, are they supporting you? Look at your work life as well. Are you working in an environment that's toxic? Are you working in an environment that is unhelpful? Are you working in an environment that is a bullying condition or bullying environment? So look at your environment. That's really important for your mindset for success, because we will all be influenced by the people and things around us. It's really, really important that you surround yourself with people and things that are championing you for your success. Just going to check the time. So I said I would share a few resilience and coping strategies. So I think it's really important to set boundaries. So anything that you're tolerating at the moment, that you're putting up with, that you don't really like or you don't really enjoy, you don't want to accept, start thinking, how can I set my boundaries? If it's a conversation you need with someone, do you need to say no? I can no longer do that. You don't have to offer them an explanation. Just say no. Set your boundaries. If you find that instead of focusing on something that you really want to do that will bring you towards success, but instead you find yourself, I don't know, watching Netflix or procrastinating on something else, what can you do to shut that down? How can you switch that off? Switch off your Netflix, cancel your subscription. What are the things that you procrastinate on? Perhaps you could set a timeline that you do 20 minutes of the work that you need to do, and then you can go and procrastinate or watch Netflix. So set your boundaries. Also set your boundaries with people as well. That's really important. Say no when you need to, say yes when you need to. Really look at your boundaries. Accept feedback neutrally. Quite often when we get constructive feedback, it's designed to improve you and what you're doing. So accept the feedback neutrally. Don't hang on to it thinking, oh, that person doesn't like me. They're just saying that to be mean to me. If they are doing that, then move away from them. But if they are genuinely giving you feedback, then accept it and look at what you can do to improve what you're doing, rather than feeling down and dejected because you've been given constructive feedback. Looking after your well-being. I talked about your looking after your mind, your body, your physical body as well, your emotional well-being. They're all important. So if there's anything in your life that is moving against you feeling good, look at what you can do to either move away from it or improve it or change it. What can you do? Your support network is really important because they will help you. So if you have something that you're troubled with, offloading it to someone in your support network can immediately help you to feel better and can immediately give you answers. So it amazes me how sometimes people stick with what's going on in their head and what they worry about and don't share it with anyone and don't tell people because they're embarrassed or they're fearful or they think they're being silly. But share it with your support network. Find the people in your network that are supportive and share it with them. Choose how you react to difficult situations. So pandemic, there's lots of things we can't do, but if you sit there thinking about what you can't do, you're missing what you can do. So that's just an example. So choose how you react in difficult situations. You know, you can't change or control what happens, but you can change or control how you react to something. And that leads me to the last thing, is always focus on what is in your control. So what's in my control? What action can I take? What steps can I take? What can I do right now in this moment under difficult circumstances? And all of these will help you to build your resilience and help you to build and develop coping strategies. So lastly, the last two slides, or a few slides, are, so if you're struggling with clarity, if you're struggling with focus, and if you haven't done this already, write down your goal. Now, some people are very rigid when it comes to goals, but for me, I like an element of flexibility when it comes to my goals. But the SMART technique for your goal will really help you to write your goal down. So SMART is, if you haven't heard of this before, is specific. So your goal is specific. So I will build my online course by the end of December. So that's very specific. So what are you going to do? You're going to build your online course by the end of December. So you're going to put all the material together by the end of December 2021. So that's very specific. It's measurable. You will know, because you will have completed it by the end of December 2021. So that provides a way to evaluate whether you've said what you're going to do or not. There will be some action required. So you will need to plan out the outline of the course. You will need to put in the elements of the course. You will need to put in what you want the learning outcomes to be from the course. So you'll have to take action to build this course. It's relevant, so it makes sense to you and what you want to achieve. So I don't know, building an online course will be a part of your success plan. So it's relevant and it's time bound. You've given yourself a time limit to the end of December. So if you wrote your goal, it would be, I will complete my online course by the end of December 2021. So you put by the end of December, so that's the 31st of December 2021. So that is a goal written in SMART terminology. So if you're looking for focus or clarity, I would suggest that you start with writing your goal down. If it's something you've tried to do and you're not successful yet, then please, at the end in the Q&A, share with me more specifics so I can help and guide you a bit more if that's what you need. Oops. So, oh, my slides aren't going forward. So coming up to the end for you, and hopefully I've stimulated some of your brain cells. You know, I can't give you a specific answer on your problem because I would need to speak to you more to find out what's going on for you so that I could guide you more specifically on what you could do, because you do have the answer, you just can't see it right now. So I'm going to ask you to take action. What's one thing you will commit to doing differently from today? So in terms of your focus or your clarity or your success or your mindset or your self-talk, your resilience, your well-being, any of those things, have you identified one thing that you will commit to doing differently from today? And if you have, please share that with me. If you're not there yet, that's fine. If you thought of a couple of things, put that in as well. Now, if you could put that in the chat box, maybe your mind is still thinking, but what's one thing that you will commit to doing differently from today? Just pop it in the chat box. Tea's gone cold now, or lukewarm. Thinking, your mind, just maybe just put a brain dump down. Just think of things that have come up for you. If you don't have your specific answer, or you need to do some more work. Schedule things instead of having a to-do list. That's brilliant. Yeah, because the to-do list just gets added to, and it doesn't mean that it gets done. That's great. Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's a really good, I like that. That's a good response. So you've been thinking. More actions and avoid taking on risks. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. Because we take risks, we don't know what the outcome's going to be, but yeah, move towards taking small steps and then dealing with the outcome, the tangible outcome that you have. Because when you doubt yourself, when you're doubting about whether you can achieve something, you're thinking ahead, thinking about the what's in the future. We can't predict the future. What you can do is act now. So you can act now for what you want to have, build what you want to have in the future. So that's really, really good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate those responses. So I'm just going to go up to the Q&A. There's my contact details again. And also what I'll do as well in the chat box, I will just pop, if you want to have a 30-minute complimentary session with me, I don't know if I can find that. If you want to have a complimentary session with me, so it's 30 minutes where I will share, or you will share with me what's going on for you, and then we can perhaps create a short plan for you to start taking action, so you don't feel like you're on your own. And then if you want to connect with me or work with me at a later date, or you want to work with me going forward, then we can also discuss that. But I do ask that if you book the 30 minutes that you do honor it, because if you take the 30 minutes, it means someone else can't get into my diary. So please ask that you honor that. So let's open up to the Q&A. I'm going to end the recording now and then ask you to take yourselves off mute, and we can have an interactive discussion without the recording. Thank you.